Hello, beautiful beings, and welcome to Circle Conversations, a podcast held with intention and rooted in presence. I'm Ariel Carreras, and this space is brought to you by the Create Space, where creativity is honored as a sacred, evolving practice. Today's episode is centered around creative cycles, part 2. Today's guest is a very close friend of mine and someone who holds a special space in the history of this podcast. She was actually the very first guest to ever join me with the series when it began, and now she's back for a part 2 of that original conversation. This episode is also a little different because we're doing audio only, which makes it feel even more intentional and intimate, like you're sitting in the room right here with us. I'm so grateful to welcome back my friend Courtney King.
Thank you so much.
Before we jump in, let's take a moment to settle in together. Please take a deep breath with us to be present in your body and to open up space for the creativity to flow. So we're going to inhale, hold it for 4, and exhale.
That was good. A nice little reset. Very good. All good here.
Okay, I don't really have like a transitional thing to say, but
Okay.
are you ready?
Yeah, ready to go. The last time I was here was your very first episode, and we were still kind of figuring things out and seeing how well we could answer questions and talk to each other in a way without overcomplicating it and overthinking it. And I'm happy that now we get a chance to be a little bit more comfortable and have a second go.
Yeah, likewise. I'm really excited.
So, our first episode was about embracing growth and change in our creative journeys.
Yeah, and so time has passed. I feel like we've gone through our own ebb and flow. There's so many things
Mm,
that have happened since that first recording. So I feel like not only do we have more things to reflect on and chat about, but like you said earlier, like we're also in just a different headspace and in a different like energy because, it's not both of our first time testing this out, and we're not in our heads, and we've set the tone for recording today.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, let's go ahead and jump right in.
When you think back to our first conversation, what feels different about your relationship with your like creativity and like the flow of your creativity?
So much. For our first episode, it was like I think I said that I was in a funk at the time, and I was really struggling to tap into my creativity, but yet answering questions about what I do to spark it. And I had these answers, but at the time, none of that was actually helping.
Mhm.
And since then, I've been on my own journey of healing and reflection and acceptance, I think is a big thing. And in that, I've stopped putting so much pressure on what creativity means to me because it looks like so many different things. And I think I've allowed it to be limited based on other creatives that I know or what I think I'm good at creative wise. And crap, I missed it. I was going somewhere
You were, and I was right there
and
with
I
you.
lost it. Where should I pick up at?
One thing I heard that you said while you're um collecting your thoughts is at the time you were like kind of in a creative drought.
Mhm.
And it's so ironic because I feel like I'm there now.
Mhm.
And I'm in a place to where I'm doing the self-care, so I have more of the ability to bounce back because how you were describing how that experience was for you for the first podcast,
Mhm.
normally that's how it is for me to where it's like nothing is really resonating with me. Like I know this
Yeah.
is to be true. I know that this is what I enjoy, but it doesn't resonate with me. But I think because I've been doing a lot of self-care practices and really honoring my routine, I have more like positivity, I
Mhm.
guess, and I'm not giving that other part of myself power. But I am in a creative drought right now, so I just
Yeah.
think it's ironic that part
Yeah.
2 are like in different
In different
positions.
positions for sure. Man, that first answer was really
It was
good,
great.
but I lost it. So mid-sentence, it's just lost.
Maybe it'll come back. It
Maybe.
was great.
I
Even
know.
if it's lost, whatever
Okay.
you said was nice.
Okay,
Not
got
whatever
it.
you said, but
Yeah, I know what you mean. This one's gonna have a lot of editing, huh?
are there any answers you'd give differently today than you did then?
I think if you were to ask me those questions today, I would have different answers, but based on where I was at the time, I think those answers still stand, and for what they are, I'll allow myself to be validated in that. Only because, as we just talked about now, like you're in a creative drought, and I was at the time, and now I'm kind of not. It's just, it's gonna, you know, the flow is gonna change on a
Right.
constant basis. So I'm just gonna, I'm gonna let those answers be what they were.
Mhm.
I'd probably answer differently today, but that's just because of where I'm at.
Do you feel like creative cycles feel clearer or messier or more accepted at this point in your life?
I think it's a mixture of all of those things. I think based on the battle I was just having, maybe right now my creative cycles are feeling I'm wanting to be more intentional with them,
Mhm.
but that means being messy because I will say in finding my spark that I was kind of lacking, I had to strip back down to the basics.
Yeah.
And in that, it was just whatever I wanted it to be.
Mhm. I feel like part 2, we acknowledge the ebb and flow and like life seasons, but I feel like we could dive deeper into how they permanently shape our creative identity,
Mhm.
if that makes sense. How have grief, joy, relocation, or really just any identity shifts changed what you create or why you create?
In terms of what I create, I think grief, joy, any emotion, or whatever's happening in my life is going to be the center of what I'm feeling inspired to do. So sometimes if I am feeling a little bit more sad or like I need to recenter myself, ground myself, my creativity looks like stillness.
Mhm.
And it's a little bit more calm than when I'm excited about something or a change in my life and things just seem more colorful.
I like how you were talking about how the phases of your life are actually at your center and those inspire your creativity.
Mhm.
I feel like for me, it's a mixture. I relate to that a lot, but then there's also seasons instead of like my sadness um being at the center and it might invite, me to restore and me to be around people that I love and basically to counteract that sadness. Sometimes it inspires what I create and sometimes I want to write about my sadness. I want to
Mhm.
listen to sad music. I want to just really be in it. And so I feel like you worded that really nicely cuz I've never really put into that much thought of what that looks like for me and like what's at my center, what inspires me, what
Yeah.
shifts the way that I see creativity and how I create.
I think for me I had to take the performance aspect out of it when it comes to tapping back in because that's when I find myself right where I need to be is when it's really just what I want
Mhm.
instead of allowing anything else someone else has to say kind of confine me to what I think I need to be doing in that moment.
Right.
And that's just that's recently how I tap back in.
And that's powerful. That takes a
I think
lot of
so.
like boundary setting within yourself.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Do you want an example?
Yeah.
Okay. So I actually sent you a picture of it, but I pulled out my oil pastels and my watercolors, and I am not like an artist to what people know them to be in terms of being able to draw and freehand or anything like that. But I like to do my little doodles. You can somewhat tell what I'm creating when I do it. And I think I just enjoy the beauty in seeing the colors on the paper, even if it doesn't look like something to anyone else's eye. And I just kind of sat on the floor like a little kid and let myself draw whatever came to mind and found so much joy in that that like I did it for books as well. I went back to like children's books that I used to enjoy and just had a grand old time with it. And that's it. That's it. That's all.
Thank you for sharing that. It was
Thank
really
you.
fun seeing you, like, as you're talking
Light
about it,
up.
you're lighting up and you're
Oh my gosh, I'm
smiling and you're
so
like
excited to do that.
Do you feel more protective, more open, or more intentional with your creativity now?
Ooh, all of the above. I feel more open in the sense that I'm excited to share anything that I've done, like just to inspire someone else or to allow myself to just be happy about something that I did, even if I'm not trying to turn it into some big thing. While also being protective of it in terms of like my little doodles and my little sketches. Like I wouldn't go and show people for the sake of it because it's something that allowed me to tap back into my own thing through my own struggles in a time that I was really needing some form of uplifting.
Mhm.
Like I said earlier, I'm not trying to put pressure on the things that I create, but I do want to think about it more and
Mhm.
make sure that some things aren't just for the sake of, because I end up, damn, don't laugh. Sometimes I end up having a vision, and maybe because I didn't plan it out or it didn't have the right structure, the end result isn't what I wanted it to be. And that's when I kind of start turning my back on projects and things of that nature. So I feel like it's about finding a balance of all three of those things. So definitely wanting to be more open, yet protecting certain things and moving with intention when it comes to projects that I really want to bring to life.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do you see your creative blocks as something to push through or something to listen to?
I guess for me, it will depend on the day. Sometimes, in terms of a creative block, it really feels like I'm getting in my head about what it is, or I'm
Mhm.
a little bit nervous that it looks bad or it's just not good. When I feel like those are things at times you can push through. Like, you know, that sometimes can come from a lack of confidence, just feeling insecure about what we're doing. And that those are the moments where I know I just need to suck it up and keep it pushing.
Mhm.
Like reevaluate and keep it going. Then there are other times where I feel like the blocks are more in tune with maybe what I'm going on in my life. And those are the moments where I think it's important to like to listen. And that's what you said, right?
Mhm. I am curious now, getting a little off topic, but, like,
Mm.
how does creative blocks show up in your nervous system?
Ooh.
Because I feel like for me, because as you were talking
Mhm.
about your creative blocks and, like, sometimes it's, like, the anxiety,
Mhm.
um, I then started thinking in my head, like, "Okay, how does this actually show up in my body?" Because like, there are times where I it doesn't always feel like just a mental thing, like, something
Mhm.
is taking over, and I have to be able to have, like, the awareness of it to
Mhm.
then, like
My creative blocks, when I know I'm just like feeling a bit anxious about it, I do this thing where I almost feel like maybe I'm hyperfixating. Like mm, I'll have an idea of like concepts coming to my mind, and I'm like trying to write it down because I'm thinking, oh my God, this is like exactly what I need right now. And none of it is actually what I would want to do. It's just me trying to fill in gaps,
Yeah.
right? It's just me trying to fill in gaps and come up with something. And I'm just like, actually, I don't think I like this at all. It's restlessness. It's not being able to, it's like, I need something. I need
Mhm.
something. I need something. Like I'm searching for a dopamine hit of some sort.
Yeah.
And that's when I know I'm dealing with anxiety that needs to just be, I need to calm down.
Yeah.
I need to calm down and sit with myself and figure out what's going on. What is causing you this distress? It's
Yeah.
as if I'm trying to like compensate for something that's missing, but I don't know what that is. So
Hmm.
I don't know. When it comes to my nervous system, it does what it wants. It really does.
I feel like for me, when I am reaching a block because I'm hitting like a firewall, like I
Mhm.
had that creative flow and now something's shutting down.
Mhm.
I need to put this into practice more often, but I have to do something with my hands. So if
Yeah.
I was writing or painting or doing whatever, and then now I can't do it anymore, I'm like, okay, how can I reset? How can I give myself permission to rest, but not like physically taking a break if
Mhm.
that's not what my body needs?
Mhm.
And so, like, I find an quote unquote easier outlet. So, like, if that's coloring
Yeah.
or like something that's the opposite,
Yeah.
or like even just messing around with like clay or,
Mhm.
you know, yeah, stuff like that. And, but then I feel like there are times in my nervous system where it's the opposite, where I am hyper fixated and I'm in this flow state and I need to get this done because I
Mhm.
don't want to, like, I'm like, anxious that I'm gonna forget this
Lose it.
spark or like
Yeah.
lose it. And I need to like take advantage of this momentum and this downtime I have. And then I just hit burnout.
Burnout.
And then I
It's like a
get the
crash.
rest, but it wasn't good rest. And then when
Yeah.
I try to jump back into it, I'm now in a different creative block to where I'm like, what was this? I don't feel
Mhm.
like I can match this again.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Valid.
I think too for myself, for creative blocks, ooh, I think I guess I answered it. I see
Mhm.
it both as sometimes a push through and sometimes as just something I listen to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, um,
There we have it, folks.
yep. How do you know when a pause is resistance versus rest?
Mm. When my insecurities are a bit at an all-time high,
Mhm.
I know it's resistance because it's like, well, if I don't do it, nobody can laugh. Like it's or if I don't do it, I won't find a way to be disappointed in the outcome. There's so much where I know I'm just resisting something because of fear.
Yeah.
And I think when it comes to knowing it's rest is just you really feel tired in your mind. Like nothing is coming to you. You I can isolate myself and know I don't want to do anything with anybody. I need to reset. I need to reset. That's I it's an easy difference for me.
I agree. I feel like when I feel the imposter syndrome or just that negative self-talk, that's something I need to push through.
Mhm.
Because I just refuse to give that power. And I know that like when you are having a good creative flow or you have a great idea and you stand by what you're doing or what you believe in or what you're creating, you're always going to have that like critic in the back of your
Mhm.
head, whether it's internal or not. And so like that kind of pushes me and motivates me to push through. And honestly, the voice just gets smaller and smaller. But for the rest part, and this is probably my anxiety talking,
Mhm.
but sometimes after I've gotten rest, and maybe it's also a part of just like not being fully aware and like structured in this sense,
Mhm.
I then get anxious about resting too much and not and like waiting for that creative flow rather than again like putting my words to practice of like, okay, well while you're in this rest period, go color or go do something so you don't feel like you have to wait for like that spark to come back. Like does have you ever
And
been there?
I've been there, and I think in those times, my question becomes, at this point, are you being lazy in your creativity?
Mhm.
Because rest is very important. But I will say I'm someone that can get very comfortable in a rest period. And it's important to be able to pull yourself out when you need to.
Yeah.
Like I do think I found myself in those positions, and sometimes it's a struggle to get out of it and be like, you should color right now. You should do this. You should read. Because one thing about my mind, I can force myself to physically do things. But if my mood at the time isn't there, like physically, nothing is going to be retained if I'm reading.
Yeah.
If I'm writing, I may write a little something something, but it's not even a brain dump at that point. It's just I'm writing because I told myself I need to write,
Yeah.
and that'll be what it is. But sometimes, y- mm,
Yeah.
yeah,
Cuz I feel like even saying putting my words to practice is like we both know it's not that easy.
yeah,
Like the artist Way, like they have this thing called the morning pages
mm-hmm.
and you have to write for 3 pages long every single morning and even if you don't know what to write, you're going to write
Write
down I
something.
don't know what to write. I
Yep.
don't know what to write until something comes. And
Yeah.
like it works, but it doesn't always work for me.
To a point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to a point
Mm-hmm.
to where it's like I think too when you're or when I'm at least in that space, there's only so many tries.
Yeah.
You know, like if I tried the coloring and I was like, man, this ain't my vibe.
Yeah.
And then I go try to do a puzzle. I'm like, yeah, this ain't my vibe either. I'm like, I'm not about to go pick up a crocheting needle right now. I want to
Yeah.
go do something else.
It's I see my hobbies as its own library.
Yeah.
Sometimes we go looking for something specific, and sometimes we're just in there and you're like, "Ooh, this seems good." Like it really just goes based on my mood, what I think I need to do in the moment. Like I
I
don't
love this creative library. I have to
it's a
I
creative
love this.
library. It's like it's there for you to have access when you need it. And sometimes you need something specific. Sometimes you're just bored. Sometimes, you're
Yeah.
looking, I don't know. I don't force myself right now to, because I like to color once or twice a week.
Yeah.
Because I like to read, sometimes I pick up a book and I just can't get through it, and I'm not gonna be like, "Oh my god, you're supposed to you should have been done with this by now." It's like, no, I'll
Yeah,
put
it's
it to
not
the
a
side
homework
for a
assignment.
second. It's not a homework assignment.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, no,
Yeah, I don't
too
do well
much
with
pressure.
yeah.
Too
Yeah.
much pressure.
What does returning to the flow look like now compared to earlier in your journey? This damn train.
Ask again.
Um, what does returning to the flow look like now compared to earlier from when we first recorded?
Returning to the flow. It looks a lot more honest with myself and with what I'm wanting, and I think there's always going to be an element of fear with being vulnerable in your creativity, but I think I've found a certain level of confidence in just doing what I want because I want to, and I didn't fully have that before. I had an understanding of it, but it wasn't something that I practiced for myself.
Mhm.
I think, again, stripping the performance away from it all the time definitely helped and is different from what I used to do because I can perform. I love to perform, but it's just a lot more stripped down and going back to the basics and The return has been pretty nice. Mm.
Has it been easier or harder to release old work or old versions of yourself? So not just last year of 2025, but as a whole.
No, I don't know that it's been hard to release them because same with the answers that I gave in our first episode, allowing them to be what they were in that time instead of trying to change them or like I'm proud of every version at this point. I'm proud of every version. Some
Love it.
things can come across a little cringe. Some things you're like, "Oh my." But, at least now I know that's what I wouldn't want to do.
Yeah.
So, I don't know that it's hard to release them, but um
How do you honor your past creations without staying like attached to them? Or would you say you are still attached to them?
no, I don't think I'm attached to them. I think I'm someone that can learn a dance or choreograph a dance, and maybe a few months later, I don't even remember it. And sometimes I'll revisit it, and sometimes I'm like, okay, that was nice for that and or if I do different artwork, like or puzzles, putting together things, you have things that you want to keep where you're like, I should frame this. And then there are other things where it's like, okay, I'm going to mess it up and, you know, put it back some other time. I don't
Mhm.
have certain attachments that stick, but then there are some that I really, really cherish.
Do you ever feel pressured to be recognizable or freedom to evolve? Like, do you ever feel that type of outside pressure?
Hmm, good one.
Thanks.
So it's interesting because, well, one of my creative things or creative outlets is creating content. And I don't know that sometimes I want to be recognizable in the sense of having, like, well,
You mean like with the niche?
with a niche.
Mhm.
I don't know that I care to have a niche. I know that at times it can be good to have one, but I don't know that I'm a niche person. I
Mhm.
just like to do whatever is happening in a time or in a moment. But sometimes I find myself deleting things or never talking about things again because I don't want people to see that. Like, there's value in seeing the growth. But sometimes I'm just like, ooh, no one has to see this ever again. I don't know. So the answer is freedom to evolve.
Freedom
Freedom to
to evolve.
evolve. I don't feel pressure to be recognizable. However, there are moments where I like the fact that I can see someone's choreography and know, oh, that's so and so's choreo. Like it may not look the same, but it has certain touches where you just know it's them.
Mhm.
I think that there's a lot of beauty in that, and sometimes I wish that, maybe I could do that and have a sense of self that is like something people.
Can be like, this is art. This is Courtney's,
Yeah, like this is yeah,
flair.
this is Courtney's thing, or oh my god, yeah, I knew this was you, but at the same time, I am ever changing. I am
Yeah. And
constantly,
it's
my
funny you
mind is
say
always
that
changing.
because even though you're saying you don't fit in a niche,
Mhm.
you are you though. And
Yeah,
I feel like as you continue to put your art in the world, people are going to say that.
yeah, I could see that too.
The way that
That
you
makes
view
sense.
art, the way that you talk about art, the way that you express your art, like that is all
Mhm.
you.
Yeah.
Hmm,
How nicely put.
thanks.
Love that.
What does sustainable creativity look like to you right now?
I'm gonna let you answer that first.
Ooh, okay. So for me, it's with my planning, really, really, really honoring one, my serene Sundays, because that
Mm.
is the day I pour into myself. I don't make plans. I don't do extra volunteer work. I don't pick up extra shifts for the most part.
Mhm.
But like I really try to this is my day to restore, to reflect, to this is Ariel's day.
Mhm.
So there's that, and then one new thing that I'm implementing this year is I wrote down all of the big creative goals that I want to do this year because all of these things take time to be able to like do.
Mhm.
And then I looked at my year and like how can I break this down and like find ways to just pour just a little bit in my cup every here and there without it feeling like one like this big passion project of like a deadline like at the
Yeah.
bot like waving over my head, and then also like how can I just make this fun and still restorative.
Mhm.
So really planning out and carving out little creative projects, and honoring my self-care days really,
Yeah.
um, without it feeling like there again is like a deadline, or if I don't do this day, I will never be able to get my
Yes.
certification with my Ariel
Yes.
silks, or I will never like no, like we're here to have fun,
Yep.
to grow, to learn, and there's already too many other serious things going on in
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
So I try to like create this non-pressure type of,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
intentional time.
Yeah. I think it's similar for me. One thing that I am trying to do more often this year is just be a part of things that bring me joy. Things that
Mhm.
I haven't tried, things that I thought I wouldn't try. Like very soon I'll be taking a crepe baking class. I don't even like crepes. Like I'm just like, oh my God, this sounds so fun. I want to do it.
Mhm.
Okay, this pasta making thing or going ice skating, anything that as long as I get to try it once, it kind of keeps me feeling creative. It
Mhm.
keeps me feeling like there's some sort of flow happening that could potentially bring me inspiration in ways that I wouldn't have expected. And I also have been keeping a journal specifically to write down what I did that day, and it doesn't have to be too specific, but most of the things that I write are like, did you read today? Did you listen to an audiobook or a podcast? Did you watch a cute show? Like, it's just finding ways to make sure I'm not just doom scrolling
Yeah.
and attached to screens or not like, letting my brain move, even if it's
Yeah.
doing a crossword puzzle, it's just like you said earlier, it's not homework, it doesn't have to be done, but it's just being more intentional with
Yeah.
staying in tune with different things.
Like fueling your intellectual mind, and that
Yeah.
doesn't always have to be like you said like homework. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean you have
Yeah.
to. Yeah.
Mhm. It doesn't always have to be, like, coloring or knitting either. Sometimes I don't wanna do something specifically with my hands. Sometimes I'm just here. I just am.
I just am.
I just am. But those are ways that I'm trying to keep my creativity sustainable because sometimes it's easy to lose it when you just get caught up in the day-to-day of life.
Yeah. That was another thing. So with this new year, most of my
Mhm.
memberships need to get renewed. So
Mhm.
it's like I really near the end of 2025, I really started taking advantage of my AMC membership of like, you know
Mm.
what? I actually don't know what movies are out right now.
Yeah.
And then like after I would go see a film, like I would watch YouTube videos or read articles of like what it was making this film, and like
Yep.
oh, this is so cool. Like this is its whole new world or whatever.
Yeah.
And like also like memberships that like just things going on in Atlanta, like the botanical gardens and whatnot. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, I really need to get my money's worth.
The aquarium.
Yes, the
All
aquarium
the
that expires
things.
next month. Um
Yeah.
so
Renew,
really
renew.
looking into that and just finding ways to make sure I have different pockets,
Yeah,
like you
for
said, like
sure. Also, like you talk about feeding your brain intellectually. I think too when it comes down to like movies and books and everything like that, making sure my creativity stays alive with my own opinions
yes.
because I found myself, and that was part of a struggle that I had in terms of insecurities and, when it came to finding my spark. It's like, what do you actually like? You don't have to have the same opinions as everybody else based on this film or this book or this album, anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to mean, you don't know what you're talking about, but I want to feel more confident in forming my own opinions without first having to see what anyone else has to say.
Right.
Yeah. And then in those opinions that you do hear, like, is there anything that maybe you missed that you didn't
Mhm.
think about that but it's like still trust that gut instinct and trust your own intuition. And I think that that was something in this previous journey or recent journey that really hit me was like coming into my own in more ways than one.
I love that you say that too because so many people and we both have been there in different phases of our life as well,
Mhm.
but like when you are sticking to, let's just say, one creative outlet and then that's just all that you are and then
Yeah.
you're kind of in like this isolating bubble of not really knowing else is going on in the world and then you just kind of quote unquote side to different
Mhm.
things or the opposite to where you're overly exposed to so much media.
Yep.
And like you said, like there's so many opinions being stated, and it's like, well, I stand by this too. And it's like, well,
Do you?
do you?
Do you really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool that you mentioned that.
Yeah. I think that was important to say. I was like, "You know what? Let me not forget that."
How do you protect sorry, I just got really excited because we just been it's
Gang,
been
gang, gang.
great.
Yeah.
I feel like we kind of touched on this already,
Mhm.
but how do you protect your creativity from burnout, comparison, or overexposure?
Overexposure from other media or other what do you
Whatever speaks to you. It could be other media, it could be overexposure to just art in general. Like when you're
Mhm.
going out, like when you do go out and see a film, are there certain things that you feel like I don't know, how do you protect your creativity? Ooh,
Trying to
I'm struggling
trying
to
to
even articulate
I
this
know, but
question.
I'm finding it. I'm finding it. I'm finding it. The burnout aspect, I think, again, it goes back to lessening the pressure. And right now, creativity is not, I think it's harder when your job is also creative.
Yeah.
And right now, that's not necessarily something that I'm struggling with, but so it's a little bit easier to maintain a certain balance to avoid burnout. But spreading things out and not allowing myself to feel like, well, you haven't posted anything in a while, like, like my content specifically has started to become just things that are in my day to day instead of trying to plan something for the sake of making a video, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
It does. Perfect sense.
And in terms of overexposure, there was something in between, but I can't remember. But overexposure, you see everyone's videos. I'm going to stick to content for right now,
Yeah.
but sometimes they edit the same because then it becomes a trend. And then it's like, well, if I don't now do mine this way, no one's going to watch it. And I think we allow ourselves to consume so much, sometimes more than we're creating, that then we try to make everything look exactly the same.
Mhm.
And I had to find myself being like, please don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to yourself. If you film a video and you edit it and you post it, but then you find that you don't like it, just change it for the next one. But keep that one the same. Don't it's like you use the same font, you use the same template. And it's okay at different times when it's specific to one thing, but I think that that's how I get so overloaded with insecurity.
Yeah.
And so I had to kind of put a pause on that specifically. What was that word in between?
Comparison.
Comparison. Oh, okay. So that all kind of ties in
Yeah.
together, I think. I definitely try not to compare my creative journeys to that of my friends or other people that I know because everyone's timeline is a little bit different. And sometimes I think that adds to the discomfort or burnout or insecurity in your creativity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you currently curious about with your creatively? Wow, this is not even a tongue twister. Hold on. Whew. What are you currently curious about creatively?
Whoa. I I'm curious about a lot. I think I'm curious about what I'm capable of that I haven't yet tapped into. Maybe because I tried it once and I don't know what happened along the way, but I've been thinking specifically about photography and drawing. I'm like, I used to love anything photography wise, and somehow that just died.
Mhm.
I don't know where it went, but I'm like, oh my goodness, I want to get into my creative, like, my eye for art, my eye for beauty, and all that. With drawing, I can't draw. But imagine what my art will look like if I just keep allowing myself to do it
Yeah.
over time. Like I'm just curious about what I can do that would surprise me.
Mhm.
I think I don't want to sell myself short. I don't want to feel bad if whatever I'm doing is just like, oh yeah, yeah, that wasn't for me. Like if it's just not for you, it's not for you. But I don't want to just limit myself.
Yeah.
What about you? What are your curiosities about your creativity?
Creatively, I'm really curious about a couple of things. Kind of like how you said, like the one and done type thing. Like
Mhm.
I wrote and published my first book, and it's been a dream of mine since I was a little girl to do a children's book. And so I wrote a whole series last year, and I'm now in this position of like, okay, like let's actually do this. Like
Yeah.
I did a fun one and tried things out with my first book, but now like this is the real deal. Like let's figure this out. And so I'm really curious to see what that journey is going to look like for me. And then also with my Ariel silks, I took pretty much a whole year off
Mhm.
um because I had a knee injury. And so I'm just curious to just it's gonna take a lot of mental strength, but I'm just curious of just how my body is going to be responding,
Yeah.
certain things that might be different while I'm growing back this skill and also taking it on a more professional, serious level. Like this is a whole new ball game for me. You
Yep.
know me, I've never done dance classes or
Yep.
like I've just never really expressed myself physically in that
Physically,
way.
yeah. Yeah.
So this is a whole new ballpark for
Yeah.
me. So I would say those are the 2 main things of like, whoo,
That's
like
so
you get the first
cool.
day of school jitters every time you
Mhm.
think about it.
Yep. Like it's crazy that the body will respond that way where it's like how I feel with Sunday scaries or just anything. You really do start to feel a little bit jittery or like just a sense of discomfort, but it's fun to kind of push through that.
What do you tell your past self about trusting the cycle?
What do I tell my past self about trusting the cycle? Hold on tight, girl. What do you tell your past self?
Mm, um, nothing's permanent.
Nothing's permanent. Yeah.
Nothing's permanent, and also consistency is key. Consistency to show up for yourself, to feed your soul and your mind art even when you don't feel
Mhm.
like you can like even consume it, let alone create it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
Are you ready?
Rapid fire.
Rapid fire.
Rapid fire. Here we go.
And this is your second time around, so like
Oh my gosh. The first time was woof. Go ahead.
what's something your younger creative self would be proud to see you in now?
Oh, they don't change?
No.
Oh. Well, see, here I was thinking I had a fresh start for real. This oh no. Well, my answer would be the same as it was last time.
Last time.
Ah. I I think this was my answer last time, but I think my younger self would be proud of everything that I'm stepping into without letting fear fully hold me back from being a part of it. I feel like that's the same thing that I said last time.
Yeah, and that's
Like,
okay.
okay, okay.
This isn't a
Next
quiz.
episode, we're gonna have to switch this.
But I always have them be the same. Well, this
You
is the first
do?
time it's the same speaker, so I mean,
Okay,
guest speaker, so
okay.
that makes sense. Is there
Wait, what about you? Go ahead, rapid fire.
can't say the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Um,
No, you can say the
I
same thing
can.
if it resonates
I
with
feel
you.
like it's pretty much the same thing. Like I feel like little Ariel would be really proud to see that like she didn't lose her whimsical side of her.
Yeah.
That like, okay, you're like an adult now, but like you're still doing weird things like going out skating at the park next
Mhm.
door and going
And
do
that's
aerial
not
silks.
even weird. We were just conditioned to think people just doing
Very true.
whatever they wanted on
Very, very
on a
true.
random Tuesday was like, "Oh, you don't have to work." Like, I think I think that's really good.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
she would think that it's cool that I didn't let the world dim her light, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you're not just
You
clocking
said
into work every
something
day.
good. You said something really good. Ooh, there's this question that I had on a vision board a long time ago, but it's like, who were you before the world told you who to be?
Mm,
And sometimes that question just kind of creeps up on me at times. And what you just said was like a good reflection of that,
yeah.
where it's like truly through all these years just being able to find yourself. And I think even little girls now that like you interact with or whatever, knowing that they have their own little struggles, but somehow they see so much light in you.
Mhm.
And I used to be the same way when it came to other people around me, where I'm just like, oh my God, I can't wait to. It's like it never ends. You're
Yeah.
always finding yourself,
Yeah.
but it's like what you learn and gather along the way that really matters. And I love that for us.
Me too. And yeah, I actually wrote about that too because it's like even when you grow up or when you're growing up, every year in school, like grade school, what do you want to
Hmm.
be when you grow up? What do you want to be when you grow up? And it has to be this one thing and then you go to college and you have to make this decision and it's like even if I sided with a career, I
Yeah.
am multifaceted. There's other
Yeah.
things that who I am that make me who I am. I just
No, no,
yeah,
yeah. I
okay,
follow.
you feel
I
me.
follow. Yeah.
But then also I write about this too because it's like even as a kid, and it's so funny because the other day you were mentioning how like a family friend
Hmm.
as a kid she knew that she wanted to be a pilot and now she's a
Yeah. Now
pilot.
she's a pilot.
And
Yep.
it's so funny because as a kid, I knew I wanted to write, I knew I wanted to teach, I knew I wanted to do all these things, but I kept being told, pick one,
Pick
honey.
something. Yeah.
And I feel like little Ariel would be like, "Well, you're kinda still doing that, like, you're doing all of these
All
things, that's
those
so
things.
cool."
It's really cool because we allowed ourselves to be open enough to do that.
Yeah.
And I think that, sometimes people get stuck in a sense of feeling like whatever their answer to what do you do or well, what career are you in
And,
right
like,
now has to
small
be
talk,
big.
when that's the first question, I'm like, "Come on, man.
Yeah.
Can we try
And
something
then
else
because
today?"
there's judgment that follows,
Mhm.
weirdly enough.
Mhm.
And I'm just kind of like, life is way too short for you to be judging me on my answer right now.
Yeah.
We all gotta work, guys. Like, we all have to work. And
Mhm.
I'm proud of all of the people who worked really hard to maintain a certain career that they wanted. And sometimes those people change their minds too.
Yeah.
And they're allowed to do that. Like, this
Mhm.
this world is always going round.
Ever
Mm,
changing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
To add to that, which I might cut out because this was a long tangent. I
Yeah.
loved it though.
Yeah.
Um, Also just growing up I wasn't surrounded by a lot of people that were even in careers. I was
Mm.
surrounded by people who just worked
Yeah, they have
jobs.
jobs, yeah.
And I feel like on top of being told I need to pick one thing of who I want to be, which is like, who asked a kid that? Like,
A
come on now.
child.
Come on, please give me a
Babies.
break. um, Seeing that too, and just still being my own little superhero of I want to do something different.
Yeah.
But then also coming into adulthood adulthood and seeing, okay, some of these ideas are not that different, but like not letting that also dim me. Like I'm
Yeah.
still me and I have my own way of viewing the world and
And
expressing myself, and that's enough.
that's enough. Because that is also constantly changing with the experiences that we find ourselves in.
Last question. Where do you feel most creatively alive right now?
Ooh. Last time I said by myself and at times surrounded by other creatives, and that hasn't fully changed, but I will say sometimes I feel most creatively alive when I'm doing things unplanned
Mm-hmm.
in terms of like cooking, baking, and the outcome is the most beautiful thing that I've ever done. I'm just like, oh my gosh, wow. I get so excited. And a lot of times that sparks even more creativity for things that I'm already working on because it just makes me feel more inspired. So I would say that's where I'm feeling most creatively alive right now.
Mm.
Yeah, just diving into to anything that is bringing me uh, joy.
Joy.
Joy, joy, joy.
I feel like for me, um, I'm struggling because I'm in a little creative block right now,
Mhm.
but most recently it was vision board making.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was it actually took a minute for me to start enjoying it, to be honest.
Okay.
And I ended up spending almost 3 full days. Well, not full days, I have work and whatnot, but like
Yeah.
3 days to get it done. And
Yeah.
by the time I was on day 2 and then I had to get like extra supplies and do this, I was like, "Oh, this is fun."
Yeah.
I can't wait to like when I was not home, I was like, "I can't wait to go back home and finish my vision board."
Mhm.
So I would say that.
That's good. I did mine too, and you know what? I think I had to stop when I started feeling like it was stressful because it shouldn't have been, but trying to just cut the pieces exactly how I wanted and feel like, "Where should I place it? Oh my god." I was like, "This should not be stressing me out like this." And then everything couldn't fit on my page. So then I was like, "Ah, dang." But it's all still cut out, piled up, waiting to be glued whenever, and we just need to just be okay with the chaos at times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my vision board for sure is chaotic.
But now you love it.
I do.
Yeah. That's really good. That's really, really good. This was
It
nice.
was. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's always a joy to have you here, not just for the insight and your in the creativity that you share, but for the heart and honesty that you bring to these conversations. I'm so grateful that we could explore today's topic some more and do a part 2 series. Um, and to everyone listening, thank you for being a part of this conversation.
Thank you so much.
Until next time, take a moment to breathe, create, and make space for what's coming next.